so many things, like how to love and how to lose and how to choose.
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of Walking Through Life. I'm very excited today because today is the second happiness project we've been doing. So we did the first one. Today we're doing a second one, and we're going to be talking about, so Mary says, creating a happy life. So she's got some wonderful tools that she's going to share with all of us. So if you would like, get out a pen and pencil so you can write this down. Mary, well, first of all, let's say hi to the audience. Hi, this is Mary. Mary, hi.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on the show, Linda.
Oh, yeah. I love having you on the show. I just told them to get out a piece of paper and a pencil. They could write everything down. So you're going to share some tools with us, right? All right.
I absolutely am. And this is one of my favorite subjects, creating happiness. It's where the core of your whole life begins, really.
So first, do we want to talk about recognizing what you need to do, what it would be that would tell you, say, hey, I might try this, what Mary has suggested. So what's the first thing that people would need to just get in their head to be able to try what you're suggesting today?
Well, I'd say the first part of creating happiness is finding out what makes you happy. And a lot of us know what doesn't make us happy, but we don't invest a lot of time in figuring out what does. And so this is where the fun aspect of this comes in, is finding, it's an exploration, it's a journey. So going online and looking at different things. So say that you're an arts and crafts person and you haven't done it in a while and you've made all these excuses to why you can't do it, but you know that you really want to jump back in. Getting online, researching, looking for something that says, aha, that makes me excited. That's the feeling that you're looking for. You're wanting to find the pieces that make you excited. Now, sometimes in our life, we have trouble seeing that because of what's in front of us. And that requires changes. And that changes are very exciting to me because changes give the opportunity to create anything that you want. And so this is where really looking deep within our environment, our workspace, our relationships, our family, are we living to the authentic life that we really choose to? And are there changes that need to be made?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I get that. I absolutely get that. You know, that's what happened to me too. It was like, something drastic happened and all of a sudden my path went crooked and I went down a totally different way, which was much better than where I was before. So it happens, and I don't think it's all about, you choose that right away or whatever, but you know that there needs to be a shift or that you want to do a shift from what you were doing. You wanted to create something totally different in your life to feel more happy and more joyous and be a participant in your life. So I think that's what you're talking about, Mary. Yeah. So how would somebody...
I am, and
I was just going to say,
Go ahead, Liz.
I was just going to say, from the day that they process that and they say, okay, I'm making a big shift, I'm changing, what do they need to do to start it? You writing down?
Well, the first place to start is to really identify what is it that's in the way, because that's what you have to change. So what I hear from a lot of people, the biggest is, I don't have time. Well, you have to schedule the time. You have to make time for yourself. Investing time in your happiness is the best thing that you can do for your family, for your relationships, for your health, for your work, because you are going to have a better attitude when you show up every single time. And so when you look at your happiness as something that is an important component of your life, you need to schedule time for that. It's just as important as taking a shower or brushing your teeth or any self-care maintenance that you do daily. And so that's my first suggestion.
And can you give an example of what kind of things that you're talking about when somebody does take happy time? Is that what they call it? We'd call it the happy time. So we scheduled happy time. What during that happy time are we doing?
Well, so I would say that this, especially in this happy time, as you are first scheduling this, what you want to do is you want to create an environment where you can feel freedom, where you can be at peace, and where you can fully engage in what you're doing. And I think that, especially in the busy lifestyles that we have, people who are parents with little kids, work, and all of this balance that we do, we forget that we're allowed to have that time. And so for some people, that might be meditation. It may start out with something very simple. For a busy parent, that might be just going to the library and having pure silence. It's going to be different for everybody. But it's that first basic need that you feel. So when you're feeling a little tense and you're feeling a little frustrated, and you say, I wish I could. That's the thing you go do, because it's calling you back to your peace. You know inherently what you need to come back into balance with your happiness. And so the frustrated moments are important, and they're special, and they're just as important as the happy moments, because those are the indicators of what you need to change. And so this balance of, oh, wow, look, I'm frustrated. My kiddo is taking too long to go to school. Evaluate. Am I giving them enough time? Are they being lazy? Do I need to change the routine? How do I make this better so that it works for everybody? How can I prepare better? And so the brainstorming goes on, and that's where you create solutions to happiness. And honestly, a lot of times it's about getting rid of your expectations. Expectations are a tough thing. And I'm not saying that having structure is not important, but when we expect things to be perfect and they're not, we are going to focus on that when we are in that world of perfection. And so I think that a lot of this playfulness is not about control in any way. If you look at kids on a playground, there is no control.
Absolutely.
And so happiness is the thing. Yeah.
And we were talking last time a lot about the inner child. And, we often think that we're too old, or, we got too much going on to play, or, maybe we shouldn't use the word play, so it's not good to do something nice for myself. I got 5 kids, or whatever it is. And what you're saying is that it's important to take that time for yourself to be able to be there for your kids, and to be able to be a good co-worker, and to be able to be in a relationship. And the inner child actually doesn't have to be like me and play with teddy bears and fairies. It's like my sister. She was a little mom when we grew up. So she loved taking care of her baby sisters. That was her thing, But when she was growing up, she had less responsibility because she wasn't the mother. You know what I mean? So she was able to play a little bit, whereas now in her life, it's not there. And and I feel very bad for that. And I'm hoping that sometime she will find that. But I think everybody finds it in their own time, in their own way. But I think that's something that I would like to hear. Is if we can give the audience kind of not like a message, but kind of like a tool of how to not only take the first step, but how to get into a routine where you do it every day. Is there something specific that you find that you like, that maybe you should do more of it throughout the days, like you were saying, meditation, but say all you wanted to do is play with teddy bears? So should you take just 5 minutes at the beginning and then go on from there and say, if I want to play with teddy bears for an hour or whatever, or fairy garden or...
I feel that that's different for everyone. And and within this appointment, I suggest spaciousness so that when you go into your fairy garden, if you are connected and having an experience, that you allow yourself to have that fully. So maybe it's not just an hour, maybe it's 3 hours. And for some people that's unrealistic, and that's fine. And for some people, they feel uncomfortable with 3 hours. Maybe they just need to start 5 minutes at a time because they are so out of practice. And here's the thing, is that every emotion and everything that happens in our head, we become addicted to those feelings. We become addicted to our depression. We become addicted to our grief. And it's okay that we're addicted. It's normal. But what the goal here is to break out of that and go, wait a second, there's a whole nother life over here. I have the right to be happy, and I can choose my thoughts and my focus. And that's what takes practice. That's the real tool. And so the way that you come to awareness is this is journal time. Here's the tool. This is where you need your pen and your paper.
Yep.
So the first thing you need to do is you need to evaluate. And so you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to put a line down the middle. And one side, you're going to have these different topics. You're going to leave some lines in between. And this is for both sides. These are the topics: home, social life, work, family, creative time, and playtime. Okay, everybody write that down. So the one side of the column, the first side of the column, is going to be those things that you want to do under those headings, but you keep running into roadblocks. Okay. And what I want you to do is, when you're writing down the roadblocks, I want you to have no judgment. I just want you to write. And it doesn't matter how many there are. And here's the deal, is that this may be an ongoing process, because what you're doing is you're looking within. You're saying, wow, I want to know who I really am and what's going on up here. And I'm going to figure this out. And I'm going to figure out this puzzle that's what's getting in my way. Now, the other side of the column is, what do I really want to do? So I'll give you a great example. So under my home column, for a long time, I had been doing a lot of traveling. And I got to stay in these amazing hotels. And I loved staying in these really creative, beautiful spaces. And so I said to my daughter, I said, hey, when we move to the little cabin, I want to create our little place to look like a hotel. And she goes, yeah, that sounds totally cool. And so we have spent the time going to garage sales and gathering things together and creating this space that when I walk in, I feel good. I feel happy. And so on that other column, those are your goals. Those are things you should be doing for yourself. That's self-love when you go to that other side of the column. The first column are what you need to create solutions for. And I guarantee you, for most everything, there is a solution.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. You know, I find myself in saying, okay, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to write this down. I'm going to do that one, you know. And, you know, to look at it as having me time, you know, spending, that's when I do my meditation and stuff, compared to when playtime is actually doing the thing that I love the best, which is creating the fairy garden or playing with teddy bears or whatever it is. It's my time to be able to really play or get excited and, you know, play with my inner child or draw. I love to draw little fairies or whatever I'm going to draw. That's another way that I can express my play. So in my meditation time is very important too, the relaxation time. And I when I do my meditation, also I've come to know how to do some self-hypnosis that I can do specifically for me, that, because with self-hypnosis, you're the one that's in control, and you know what where you want to go in your self-hypnosis and how you want to do it. So I was taught that, I don't know, probably 10 or 11 years ago. So I do use that when I go to sleep. I have a process where I do that. And so that's very helpful to me. So that I would call definitely my me time. And then playing in the fairy garden, just letting my whole mind go to play. I think that's absolutely right, because that's what I do. Absolutely, Mary. And, I'm sure that we can all do this, It's just a matter of being open to it, I think, being willing. Yeah.
Well, and here's the key. This is how you get yourself to that place. You make a commitment to yourself. You make a vow to yourself that you're going to give yourself 100% of this life. And you show up 100%. So in these different areas where you're saying, I'd love to have this happening in my family, devote yourself to that. Be present, be authentic, show up. It's, life is not perfect. It's often messy. My sweet friend and great teacher, who will be on a show in the future, I'm sure, with Linda, Carrie Hummingbird, she put up a post yesterday that said, being a human is messy. And there are moments, but we have the choice. We have the choice to say, oh, okay. Yeah. It gets messy sometimes. Okay. I don't feel so great. What do I need to do in self-love to adjust my focus back to what I really want? And see, that's what this list is really about. This list is your inner child, your inner adult, your inner energy, your soul speaking to you. And so I do these on a daily basis. I listen to myself. And when I don't feel right about something, I listen to myself. And I also evaluate. Sometimes what's going on in my head is garbage.
Yep.
It's just garbage. I make stuff up. I'm a human being. I'm a monkey. I make stuff up sometimes through assumption when I really don't know the truth. And I also choose to laugh at myself and not make myself miserable when I really don't know. And so, I think that's a really deep place to happiness. That's a different level of this. You are not your house, your car, your wallet, your bank account, how much money you make, where you live, what you do. You are not. You didn't come here to do that. You came here to have a human experience. Get out of that chair and turn that TV off, and let's go have a human experience, whatever that means for you. That's where this comes down to. The biggest importance, sweetheart, is that you have to do what you came here to do. And that is different for each and every one of us, because that is what the true core of happiness really is, Linda.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I still struggle once in a while. I mean, I know at the peak of my mental illness, I had severe agoraphobia. Now, nobody would know that today because I go out all the time. But I got to tell you what it was. It actually got me out there. Okay? What got me out there is I'm sitting in my big chair watching TV, right? All of a sudden, I see the butterfly just fly through my window. And I said, oh, how pretty, And I saw it fly to where my front door was. So I went out to look at there, and it was so pretty. And I'm looking at it, and it's going like this, and it goes around the corner. And I said, oh, I got to go out and see where, So I did. I just went out, didn't even think about it. Didn't even think that I was outside my house. And I started following the butterfly right downtown, the whole 9 words. And, and then I saw birds and feathers on the ground, all kinds of things. I wrote a poem about it, actually, because at the point that I started thinking about, oh, my gosh, I came out, I have agoraphobia, I was all the way down to the park at downtown, And then I'm like, I got scared for a moment. And then I said, you got here, you can get back. And I was just amazed that I wasn't even thinking about it. I just did it. And what's the power of that, I mean, there's power in that, not holding on to what your head usually tells you about. You can't because you can't because you can't because you have agoraphobia, or you can't because you have this. I let that go and just went. It was like, that was easy, you know? So I think there's a power in that.
That's it.
Yeah.
See, that
Yeah.
it is.
No,
It is. It's a huge power. And when you cultivate that power, and that's self love, and self love cultivates power for everything outside of you. And it's the same with happiness. It's the same with pride. It's the same with accomplishment. It's the same with feeling appreciated. When you take that in yourself, you will not let people in your life that don't appreciate you. When you truly love yourself, you will not let people in your life that don't love you, because you can tell.
Yes,
You're
you
no
can.
longer under that spell. You're no longer under the spell because you know your worth.
Yep.
Because every single person out there is worth it.
Yeah.
Worth it.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's like I was just like, wow, I did that. Now, you know, and I wanted to go to the park every day, and I didn't let anything stop me. And the next thing you know, I'm drawing butterflies, and I'm going out and creating flower gardens, you know, and I'm doing a TV show now. You know, it's all this stuff. You know, I can't believe that 10, maybe even 15 years ago that I was behind four walls, and I stayed there. I was there for probably 10 years and just hated it. Hated it all the time, hated myself. But once I got out that door, it was a different story. And Mary, I got to tell you how good I feel about that. I got to say that that's one of the biggest recoveries that I overcame. It is.
Yeah.
Besides being able to get sober and, you know, recovering from other mental illnesses at the same time, it's all about how you want to do it. Yeah. And I know you've faced out challenges.
It is. And you are the butterfly.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Sorry. You are the butterfly, Miss Linda, you know, and that's why I appreciate you so much. And I love your teachings because you do offer hope. You offer a different alternative than a lot of people get to receive. And so because of that, you are a healer. You are a message of something much more beautiful and optimistic. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I do too, because I get excited about it all the time, you know, and I get excited, and I see people that are still struggling now that are finding their wings. You know, they're finding their wings, doing things that they really want to do too. And it's just amazing. It's amazing to see that, to witness that. And I am so grateful for that, for people sharing their lives with me and sharing their hopes and their dreams and, you know, what they do, what their talent is in life, or what it is that they want to do. And Mary, you're the same way. You love that. You do. You really love to hear people's inspiring messaging and stuff like that, you know, and this is what makes it such a good fit for walking through life, you know. And I know this is only the second one, and we've got two more. Do you think maybe you could give a preview to the audience of what we might be discussing in the next two shows?
Well, I think next week we should talk about big changes in happiness, career changes, lifestyle changes, moving across the country, and how to create that, how to get to that spot. Because a lot of people, they have a dream. Oh, I want to move to Costa Rica, but I have no idea how I'm going to get there. Well, we can talk about how to get there, how to build that roadmap.
I think that would be awesome. I think, and you know what? I'm going to be listening really close to that one. You know, I like to make big changes too, and I'm thinking about moving. Still in White River, just out of where I've lived for 20 years. So, I'm thinking about it. So I'm sure that'd be very helpful to me. And I know we're getting towards the end of the show, but this has been such a great show, Mary. And I would like to give a message to the audience before you do, if that's okay. I would like to say is, you know, Mary gave us a great lesson today. Let's take her on and make our list. And, you know, she is there for you if you like have a question about making a list or you know how you can go about doing that. She's going to give you all her information again so you can contact her and do that. And if there's any subject matter that you would like covered on Walking Through Life While I Have Mary here, she's going to be a regular. just either send me an email or a Facebook or send Mary one. We'll make sure we cover the topic for you. But anyway, now back to Mary, because Mary, I'm sure, has a very inspiring message for all of you. So, Mary?
Well, in ending this up, what I want to say, my message today is this, is that you have the opportunity to live your best life. And I want to empower you and give you permission to go and play, to go and experience life at a new level, and to cultivate that happiness. Let's create it together. And come find me on Facebook. You can also follow my feed on Facebook, Empower Your Life Today. There's lots of goodies on there. And you can also find me on Facebook, Mary Adams, and you'll find the link somewhere in this archive. And thank you so much for being a part of today's show, because all of you watching, this is why we do it. Linda and I have a mission, and that's to love and to help and to be of service. So thank you. Thank you, Linda. I appreciate you so much.
I do, you too. I've got such a grateful heart for you, and being able to share in a lot of our thoughts together. I think it's just wonderful. And, I just want to make sure that you know how much I appreciate you, and how much I appreciate my audience, and how much I appreciate Chico. Chico's behind the scenes, but he does a wonderful job for us, doesn't he, Mary? Yes.
He does. Thank you, Chico.
Yay, Chico.
You rock.
Yeah, he said you're welcome. We're gonna have to get Chico in here at some point, aren't we? Yeah. So anyway, Mary, I want to say goodbye to you today. We'll have to wave to the audience, though. We'll wave to the audience and say goodbye for walking through life today. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Walking through this life of mine, well, it's teaching me so many things, like how to love and how to lose and how to choose.